spirits. Electricity. Lava. Flight. When I was in bronze, I watched the YouTube videos of Avatar Frenchmanilla that told me the story of how she and her friends heroically got rid of the scripters at the top of the leaderboards. Avatar Frenchmanilla and her friends formed a club, the United Republic of Plonkers, a society where meta enjoyers and vibe guessers from all over the world could duel and earn club points together in harmony. Avatar Frenchmanilla accomplished many remarkable things in her Geoguessr career, but sadly, in her focus on writing Geoguessr parody songs, she forgot to renew her subscription. The United Republic of Plonkers, now leaderless, looks for its new avatar to lead the club to the top of the leaderboards. And like the cycle of the promo weeks, the cycle of the avatar began anew. Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your girl Frenchmanilla here, and welcome to the final episode of the Avatar Legend of HiScorra series. This episode is going to be about flying. So we're going to be playing on a map called Photospheres from the Sky and getting a bird's eye view of different cities and locations in the world. So let's see how I do, and without further ado, let's jump right into the video. All right, we see a lot of water, islands, blue water. Okay, where am I thinking here? I'm not getting too much from the houses or buildings that are here. Very palm-like trees. The only thing I can really think of in this moment is maybe the Maldives, because I know this is not official coverage, so I'm trying to think outside the Geoguessr box, and what countries are only in official Geoguessr coverage. So I'll go in the Maldives. Maybe I'll go near Malé. No, that seems maybe I'll go near Gafaru. Okay, honestly, kind of cooked there. Okay, so Maldives, obviously a bunch of different islands make up the Maldives, but we were closer to Ekolonda and Faris Mathoda. Okay, but I'm really happy that I at least got the right country there, because I feel that was a really difficult round. And 3.4, amazing score, especially since the islands are so far apart. Let's see where this next place is. Okay, so we see a lot of farmland with the very different squares kind of separating the different crops and stuff, I'm thinking. The first thought I had based on the mountains was Vietnam, maybe Philly, it feels like Southeast Asia. A lot of these houses have red roofs. Okay, we kind of have a white dash middle, but it's not a lot of dashes. Do we have any cars or people driving? Okay, if the sun is shining this way and the car shadow is behind, I think the cars are driving on the right. So I think I might be correct with Vietnam or Philippines here. I definitely think it's Southeast Asia. That's just the vibe I got from the mountains, right? Is this ever South America? I don't think so. I think my gut instinct was Vietnam, so I do want to go there. I'll go in the north because I feel it's more mountainous in the north. Maybe I'll go near Yen Bai. Okay, I'll take it. Getting right country there, pretty good. We were closer to the middle of the country in a city called Ma Tuong. Ooh, very snowy, very opposite vibe from the last location. Okay, so what am I thinking here? Very square-like buildings. There's yellow parking spaces, which is interesting. Yellow lines in the parking spaces. Very dome, circular building. I had a couple of thoughts here. I thought maybe it was Eastern Europe at first, but do the roads feel like Eastern Europe? I don't know. Right side driving because of this line right here. What sports fields do we have, or can we even tell because of the snow? Okay, so we have a baseball diamond, so I'm gonna guess probably the US or Canada, because I feel not too many other countries have like baseball diamonds as part of like, you know, a school or something like that. I feel like this is like a school building with like parking lots, or it could be like a sports complex or something, because there's multiple baseball diamonds. There's what, 1, 2, 3, and then I don't know what those are. Okay, so maybe US or Canada. Because there's snow, I'm thinking more north. Maybe I'm like maybe thinking Canada more than the US, but I don't know how much baseball is played in Canada. So I will go maybe like Great Falls, Montana. I feel like that won't be too bad of a guess. I don't know if this is the exact right country, but I don't think we'll be too far, because I'm pretty sure it's the US or Canada, and if it's snowy, it's probably along the northern border, so I'll go here. Oops. Ooh. Okay. Sometimes when I like click, or like, you know, I'm like, you know, zooming in really quick, like I click on the space and then like I go to click guess and then it clicks in the water, so glad I caught that before it submitted. Okay. Not the greatest, and that's kind of like interesting. But we got 1,000. We were in the right country. We were in Michigan, and then we were closer to Milan. Okay. Ooh, okay. I love the colors on this building. Kind of like the turquoisey, and we got like the olive green color. Maybe it's more of like a green yellow color. Not entirely sure. Blue water. We were roundabout. Okay, blue and white buses. What is this telling me? Air pano. Okay, I haven't been looking down as much. I feel like I'm not necessarily like avoiding it, but like I know sometimes they can have like a big circle that says like, oh, you know, view from like Costa Rica or something like that. So I don't want to like focus on it, but if I happen to see it, it's fine. Is that a red flag on the top of the building? Who's got a red flag? Like Turkey does? Seems like maybe we're right side driving from these cars, or are we left side? Like, I can't tell if these are the backs of the cars or the fronts of the cars. Should look at this roundabout. Okay, they're definitely like towards the right side of the circle, I think, and it goes counterclockwise, so I think we are right side driving. Yeah, okay, that confirms it for me. Country that has right side driving, and I think this is some sort of religious building. I want to say maybe it's like a mosque. Okay, I'm thinking maybe Turkey, but it could very well be a different country. I think there's a lot of countries that have a lot of mosques that aren't on Geoguessr officially, but like the blue turquoise is kind of giving me like, you know, Mediterranean a little bit. So I'll go like near Fethiye in Turkey and we'll see where we are, but I could be in the wrong country here. Okay. We were in Morocco. We're closer to Casablanca. Okay, so this was Casablanca, and this was the Hassan II Mosque. Okay. Not officially in the game, but I've gotten unofficial coverage in Morocco before, so not my greatest guess, of course, but I love seeing the location. All right, we are in an interesting area. Immediately, the housing made me think, like, U.S., but this is, like, a really wide river. So what am I thinking here? Like, maybe like the Mississippi River, maybe we're near like the bayou or something like that. It kind of is giving US, right? But this house is not very US. What did I even think? Like, maybe this house is what made me think we're in the US? I don't know. The very like, the triangular indented houses is not super US. It was kind of this house that made me think it, I think. Upon further reflection, not thinking US here. Okay, so if I'm not thinking US, someplace with a lot of like rivers or something like that, maybe I'm thinking Europe based on the housing styles. And then what is that in the back? Maybe it's a church building or some sort of religious building. Kind of has like a dome-like shape. I remember when I was learning some boat coverage, there was this like one river in Romania. So I kind of want to go there. I don't know if this looks like a very like Romanian style of like architecture all around me, but I do remember there was like a certain boat that was in Romania, so can I remember where that river is? Because this might not even be like the right, you know, country, lake, whatever. I'll go near Sabangia in Romania. Hopefully we're on the right continent at least here. That would be cool. Okay, not horrible, not the right country, but it was the right continent. We were in Poland, closer to Genoviec. Okay. I think the W is pronounced like a V, but please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. All right, 11,000 for the first round. Clearly need to practice my flying bending skills still, so let's keep going. Ooh, okay. Round 2. This is interesting. Okay, style of housing, tiles, okay. We have a lot of farmland with like white / kind of like a reddish tint to the soil, but not like red, like Brazil dirt red, you know? Mountains, maybe some sort of, I don't know. It's kind of giving me like Game of Thrones for some reason, like this type of like building here, which is making me think like Croatia, maybe like an Italy. Like it's kind of giving me like King's Landings vibes, you know? Like up here, like these buildings all the way over here. I'm kind of getting Europe, but also we could be in a different continent, but this is making me think like somewhere here. I'll go near like, it's someplace mountainous, right? So we're not probably on the coast. Let me go like inland in Croatia. I'll go near like Josipdol and we'll see where we are, but that is just like the initial vibe I got. Not thinking too hard about it. Let's see where this is. Okay, not the right country, of course. Right continent, at least, though. We were in Spain, closer to Horta? Do you pronounce the H? Horta de Sant Joan. I'm pronouncing it very French. So that's probably incorrect there. Okay, we are near a pool. Maybe some sort of, like, island or, like, tropical place, destination. This feels like probably some sort of country or a region or place that is not on Geoguessr. I'm just like thinking like with how blue the water is, like this feels like very like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like other coverage I've seen before. Okay, we have red pathways, we have houses. Maybe the houses are giving me like, we have cars on both sides of the road, so not really helpful for driving direction here. This car's on the left, but that's like someone's gateway, so not the most helpful. I get a feeling that we're like in an island somewhere like here, because I feel like just because of how blue the water is, that's what's making me think here. And maybe the style of housing is like giving like, is it a Fort Love tank? Is that Brazil? I don't know. Maybe Fort Love is in other countries. I don't even know if that's what Fort Love. I just think the blue tank makes me think of Brazil here. But maybe we won't go too far from Brazil and we'll go somewhere in one of these islands. I'll go in like St. Lucia. I feel like that's calling out to me. We could be very far, but I'll go near Castries. Okay. Probably should have went Brazil there based on the water tank, but I wasn't really confident that it was like a Fort Love water tank. We were in Brazil. We were closer to Salvador. Okay, so very far. I think I guessed in St. Lucia. Okay. Whoa, okay. So these buildings are kind of like tan. They have like these rounded archways. There's some blue water. We have this like red bridge thing and this thing poking out over here. There's some sort of like statue at the end of this like bridge out there. What is this giving? This is maybe giving me like, is it giving me like North Africa, like Morocco ever? It says stop on the road, okay. What side of the road are people driving on? Are people driving on the left? There's parking on the left, but I don't know if they're driving on the left. Although it would make sense if you're left hand parking if you're left hand driving, right? Because it'd just be easier that way. But not super confident about that. It does feel like left side. Okay, so stop, left side driving. So someplace it's left side driving. I don't really know what side driving Morocco is. I'm gonna look for a flag because hopefully with how big the city is and like how much we can see, we can find a flag that would tell us like what country we're in. But if I don't find anything, then I think I'll just go Morocco because that was my first instinct here. We do see flags that are kind of red. Okay. Morocco flag I am blanking on in my head. What are the colors of the flag? This one is kind of like a dark, like black or blue. There's a symbol in the middle, but I don't know if that's a country flag because I feel like it'd be furled differently or maybe unfurled differently. Some blue in the background, another flag there. Nothing super clear, TBH. I think that because I can't find any other information just based on the vibes of the architecture, I'm gonna go in Morocco. I'll go closer to El Jadida this time because I think last time we were in Casablanca. Okay, we're actually in Malta, which makes sense, I guess, with the left-hand driving, so maybe I should have considered that more. Not a great score, but we at least got 1,000 points there, so we'll take it. We are in the middle of some sort of waterway, okay. This is an interesting like little platform, like the shape and the color, okay. That's a pretty tall building, pretty wide, pretty gray. Tall spire there. What are these buildings giving? I don't know, like, is it giving me like, I have no clue. A lot of the buildings seem to be fairly short. There doesn't seem to be too many like tall buildings or anything. It feels very like muted, the colors here. Like I don't know why, like I don't see anything that's like super vibrant. A lot of the buildings seem very like square, which I know like a lot of buildings are, but I don't know how to describe exactly what it is. I wonder what this is in the back with like kind of like the brushed out fan top, but like the very flat like top of the shape. Some reason I want to go like Eastern Russia. Like I don't know if that's like a horrible shout here or if like this type of vegetation even exists there, but that's like what the buildings are making me think of. I'll go near, what's like a big city over here? Maybe I'll go near Yelazovo. I feel like this is gonna be very far off and probably the wrong continent, but we'll see. Okay, we're actually in Kuwait, so very far there. At least I got 11 points. I'll take 11 over 0. We were actually near Al Jara in Kuwait. Okay. Okay, this is the most turquoise water I've ever seen. I mean, we've seen a lot of different like colors of water today, but this is like bright, kind of like green blue. All right, loading in the images. So this is a very interesting like hotel slash building. I feel like I've seen that before, maybe in Geoguessr, like official or unofficial coverage, I'm not sure. What are the mountains giving me? I feel like these are supposed to be like super recognizable. I definitely need to work on like just recognizing like the architecture and stuff and getting a better vibe. It looks like we're right-hand driving from the side of the road in the cars, okay. Right-hand driving. I see a green sign and a blue sign. So green sign and a blue sign. Maybe that's giving Europe to me. I don't think there's really like blue signs a lot in the US. The houses or like the buildings are kind of giving me like, it's like Switzerland, like Austria. Are those bad shouts ever? Like maybe some sort of like big lake or whatever here. That's just like the vibe I'm getting from like, yeah, what the buildings look like. So I think I'll just go near a lake. Maybe this one. Near Rorschach, maybe. Is that related to like the Rorschach test with like the visual test? Let's see. Okay, actually I really cooked there. We're closer to Rorschach. Okay, close to Rorschach. We got 4.7 and we were in Switzerland, so definitely got the right vibe from like the architecture and buildings and stuff. Didn't know the water was like so blue there in Switzerland. Love to see it. All right, 8,000. Let's play this again and see how many different locations I can see and if I can practice my flying bending skills. All right, oops, knocked the mic. Right side driving, okay. Can we see language on these buildings? No. I don't know if that's a flag right there. Kind of just seems like something on a building. Tall buildings in the back over there, okay. There are so many like buildings and stuff that are like close together here. Okay, this feels like a religious building. There's a spire here. I can't read that sign and it does not have like discernible language. Okay, what am I thinking here? Maybe I'm thinking Turkey. That's kind of like the vibe I'm getting from the buildings. I don't know if that is like really far off and maybe like that's, yeah, that's what I'm thinking based on like the like religious buildings and the architecture. We could be really far off though. I feel like part of me also thought like Ukraine or like Russia, but like somewhere like here in Russia. I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to be able to get clues that will get me closer here, but I think I'll go like Kastamonu and I'll see where we are. Okay. I kind of cooked there. We were in Turkey, so we got the right country. We're closer to Bursa. Okay, so I think we actually were in Bursa. So, right country. Woohoo. This is a US flag, so hopefully this is not a bait and we are actually in the US. As for determining where in the US we are, so that is a bike. Very cool. Is there anything like really like recognizable here? It's kind of blurry. That's a really long highway / road. This like water / mountain thing in the back is really interesting because I feel like that doesn't exist in like a lot of places. Like I don't even know what you call this type of like area. What am I thinking here? At first I thought like somewhere like southwest US, and then I was like, are the mountains giving more like, you know, like Virginia, Kentucky or something like that? And then I'm like, the autumn colors are kind of giving me northeast, but like, I don't know, these like water ways don't really feel very northeast. It's kind of giving me more like middle. I kind of want to go like Kansas. Is that a horrible shout? Like, it doesn't feel so southwestern to me anymore. It doesn't feel like super like eastern either. It kind of feels like the middle. Maybe I'll go near Dorrance in Kansas and we'll see where we are, but I don't like have a strong feeling about where in the US this is. Okay, we're actually in Utah, so right country, but wrong state. We were near Farmington, okay, and we got 2.2k there, so not horrible, but not great either. Wow, this water is like blue, green, like it's got a lot of different like colors, and I assume it's because of like all the like whatever like the plants or vegetation is under the water kind of causing those different colors. Okay, we do have kind of a clearer view of the buildings, so they're kind of a lot of windows, and I assume a lot of these are like hotels or something like that, so maybe someplace kind of touristy. That is an interesting mountain. Okay, it made me think like Hawaii first, like the mountain. Is that a good shout here? These cars, where are we driving? Right or left? Can we see any roadways? It feels like, yeah, we're driving on the right because this car is going this way on the right side. This car is going this way. So someplace touristy, right-hand driving is a lot of different places. Mountains gave me Hawaii though. So do I ever go Hawaii here? I like low-key. Well, the buildings are kind of too tall, right? Like I feel like the buildings are usually this tall in Hawaii, but again, I don't know. Where else would I guess? I think I have to go Hawaii based on my instinct here, although I'm unsure about the height of the buildings being in Hawaii, but maybe it's just like a really touristy area, so they built a lot of like high-rise stuff, so I'll go near Honolulu. Maybe I should go near the water, right? That would probably make more sense. Is there like a marina or something like that? Like we'll go like here. Well, goddamn. I mean, a 5K? Yeah, okay. Yeah, a 5K. I don't know. I feel like I don't have any words there. Wasn't expecting a 5K, so that is, we'll take those for sure. All right. So next round, probably not going to get a 5K here. Water tanks, okay. A lot of like empty but like fenced off areas, which is interesting. Not a lot of like diversity of like vegetation either, kind of mountainous. Some red roofs, some kind of more like open roofs with no like tiles on the top. What continent am I thinking here? Initially I thought like South America somewhere maybe. But I don't know if this building looks very South American to me. The purple roof is very interesting. That is a truck. Okay. Anything on the pole tops? Ooh, no. Okay, so this is in Arabic. So definitely thinking of somewhere more like here. I low-key want to go like Maybe we want to go near like Kazvin in Iran. I did some sort of video a couple of weeks ago and I was like looking at like mountainous locations, I think, or something like that. And I feel like there was a location that was really mountainous that was in Iran, so I want to go there. But yeah, we see the Arabic writing on somewhere on one of the walls, so I think definitely not South America here. Let's see where we are. I will take it. We got the right country. I'm pretty proud of that, especially because Iran isn't in official coverage in the game. So we got 2.754 there. We were on the wrong side of the country, but we're closer to Abarde. Okay. Loading in. Okay, I'm blurring. Ooh, very dark blue water. Okay. Lots of boats. That is a cruise boat. Okay, so we're near someplace very, very touristy because it has a cruise boat port. This was bus stop there, and people are driving on the left, I want to say. Yeah, it looks like we're driving on the left here, unless... Oh, wait, is this just like a loading thing? No, people are parked on the left side of both sides. Okay. So someplace left-hand driving. Last time, I failed to recognize Malta. I think it was left side driving. Is this giving Malta? Is this a location we've had before? You know, I think I have to go Malta here, right? Or... Yeah, I think I saw the architecture last time, the style, and thought it was Morocco, and it was Malta. Left side driving, I think this could fit it. Although I'm not, like, entirely sure here. We'll go near St. Julian's. And then you'll go near the water, and we'll see where we are. Okay, we were in the right country, so I'll definitely take that. We're closer to Gorgon Beach in Malta. Okay. All right. We got 18,000 there, which is the best score yet of all three of the rounds. And I even got a 5K on one of the rounds, I think in Hawaii. I don't remember which round it was. Was that round 3? Oh, XP. Okay. So I will definitely take that. And I think there's no more perfect ending. So that is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching episode 5 of the Avatar Legend of HiScorra series. If you enjoyed this video and the series, let me know down below. I'll have a playlist with all the episodes in this series and the Avatar Lost in Plonkers series linked in the playlist in the description, as well as this map if you want to try it out yourself. Thank you so much again for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to Frenchmanilla and have a great day.